Hey, welcome back to Mind Pump TV. I'm your host, Danny Matrenga, and today I'm happy to share with you some of my favorite tips for fat loss. These are the tips that I've used with my clients. Nothing too technical, just things that make a lot of sense, are easy to implement, and very digestible. Now, in addition to today's video, we've curated a guide specific for fat loss. It's loaded with tips and tricks specific to exercise that I want to make sure you guys get your hands on. So again, that free guide is available to you at the link in the description of this video. Just make sure to like the video, subscribe, click the link for the free guide. And without further ado, here are my favorite tips for fat loss that I've used with my clients. So when it comes to body fat reduction, calorie deficit is the name of the game, right? A calorie deficit simply represents the gap between how many calories your body needs to maintain its current weight and how many calories you're eating if it is in fact below that level. So a 500 calorie deficit for somebody may be if they need 2,000 calories to maintain their current weight, they eat 1,500. So it's that deficit that drives fat loss. But when I communicate with clients, especially new clients or beginner clients, I like to prioritize other things first, right? Or weave certain food selections into the calorie deficit. So the number one thing I've noticed that makes the biggest difference is prioritizing protein. Protein is a vital nutrient for muscle growth as well as muscle sparing, which is managing or potentially mitigating muscle loss when in a calorie deficit. In addition to its effect on muscle tissue, it's very satiating and helps keep you full. And you can get a lot of nutrients from various protein sources. So the first thing I want all my clients to do is up their protein intake. The second thing I really like to touch on is vegetables. Lots of leafy green cruciferous vegetables. Vegetables present an incredible opportunity to get a ton of nutrition and a ton of volume, which is to say just large amounts of food with little to no calorie impact. So because those leafy green vegetables are so low in calories and high in volume, you can feel very full and be very nourished with a very small calorie impact at the end of the day. The last thing I like to recommend is just minimizing your intake of processed hyperpalatable foods. These are generally prepackaged foods that are very easy to overeat, and they're hard not to overconsume because they have a very appealing effect. And calories being equated, yes, you can in fact enjoy these foods while still losing weight. But I found for most people, it's better to eliminate them or just reduce how many of them you keep around while trying to lose body fat. Because again, they have a pull, there's a desire to eat them and continue to eat them. They don't necessarily affect satiety in the same way as things like protein and vegetables, where you get a little bit more bang for your buck. So I do recommend reducing processed foods. So again, to wrap it up very quickly, remember, calorie deficit is king when it comes to fat loss. Big proponent of protein and vegetables when it comes to creating meals, preparing meals, and where you should focus. And then again, minimizing the intake of processed hyperpalatable foods, prepackaged things, opting for whole foods and things you prepare yourself instead 80% of the time, saving perhaps 20% for those foods you might enjoy as long as calories aren't equated. And again, guys, before I let you go, remember, we do have a free guide about fat loss. It is linked in the bio. I want to make sure you guys grab that. So again, click the description, click the link to download the free guide. Good luck with your fat loss journey, and thanks again for watching Mind Pump TV.